Alright guys, today we are going to be taking a look at the newest raid against this boss from MS team right here. This is one of the hardest one we have today because in terms of the overall HP from the enemy, we have 84 million. I feel like for global that is a little bit too high. Maybe even around the 60 million would have been a little bit more acceptable. I don't know if they made a mistake or they wanted us to intentionally fight an enemy with that much HP. I have no idea, but let's kind of take a look at the overall reward first. So we are pretty much getting 3,000 diamonds per usual. There are two things you have to do. Pretty much play other people's raid events, and then you have to use pretty much the stamina for the raid. So essentially you use your own, so that's pretty much easily achievable. So easy 3,000 right there. Besides that, this is pertaining to accumulating the metal right here. So essentially we are able to get copies of Norris. He is actually a really good free-to-play pilot for the melee build. So for your close combat, for your raid, this is a really good option. So that's definitely a big W on our end. So essentially we are getting a full copy to get this unit or this pilot to potential 5, so that's pretty clutch. In terms of the event shop, let's kind of quickly talk about the order of getting some stuff right here. So your custom ticket, you guys already know that is the first pickup to go for. The next one is probably the coin, or I should say the next one, it really depends on what you guys need. Everyone needs is definitely a little bit different, but your custom ticket is definitely the first priority to go for. Me personally, I'm going for the coins, and then secondly or the third in option, probably gonna go for the enhancement program or maybe even the recycling point. It really depends on what you guys need, so definitely do get what you guys need, right? In terms of the team we are using, obviously we are going to start things out with a free-to-play first esque, and then we are going to go into more like a limited build or whatever. The first thing you need to do, you need to find a friend on your list that has a fully maxed out double zeta. That's going to be the easiest way to kind of finish things off in a timely manner. So that's the team we are rocking with. So S Gundam or any unit that is able to deal massive damage is going to be a DPS for me in this team. S Gundam is going to be taking on that role. It's just too powerful. The next few option, I feel like a tank is not really needed. I will using the full armor Gundam Thunderbolt just to try to see if we can potentially pull aggro from the boss, and I think overall it doesn't really matter because this unit was still probably one of the last one to die, so it does not really matter. So in terms of what we are going to change now, we are going to change into a debuffer. So debuffer is actually quite good, and I think the one that we are using is going to be the Mark II. Mark II is just really good because we are able to increase beam damage taken by 50% at max out, and if you are running a more projectile team, the Transcendent skill also has that ability as well. So this is definitely a must run, I would definitely say to use. The other debuff you guys might run into is probably Sasabi, but Sasabi is more like a limited option, so probably not a lot of people will have, so that's why I did not include on the team. I think also a next good thing to have is maybe a stun. Surprisingly, stun does actually low-key matter. If you guys are in a free-to-play budget, you guys can go for any of the short Zakus. Any one of them pretty much works. Or if you guys have some better ones, let's say, I don't know, like maybe Kasashia probably works, but you do have to keep that in mind. It is type disadvantage, so if you do get sniped, whatever, it's gonna be pretty bad. And next we do need a healer because in terms of my runs, I feel like having a healer was definitely a good thing to use. It may not be for everyone, but I think for a free-to-play setup, you'd be at least trying to get through a little bit of the HP bar. I feel like this is probably an okay setup, but let's gonna hop in and see how we will do. Alright, we got the boss right here. Let's go. Alright, so is that Aina? So she's the one that's piloting. I thought it was her brother that was piloting it. But anyway, let's kinda get started here. So alright. I think we would just do 3 times speed because honestly it was taking me really long to kind of break through this boss anyway, so I feel like going 3 times speed is probably the better option. But you guys can see why we need a friend fully maxed out double Zeta, because double Zeta is probably the only one, you know, essentially made for this, you know, specific event. So it's definitely pretty smart on their end why they did that. But stunning the boss is definitely a you know, an important piece. I know Zaku is probably not the most perfect unit to use because we are going with the type disadvantage, but if we can get a few stun going on, that will allow us, pretty much buy us time to kind of work our magic in terms of just depleting the boss. So with this quote-unquote free-to-play team, we were kind of able to deplete maybe a good 90 or 10% of the health bar already, allowing us to get to an S tier ready in terms of the ranking. So my recommendation, if you are a free-to-play, please press the SOS as soon as you get in, because that will alleviate any time you need to kind of do this by yourself, because it's gonna take a while. My team is obviously not, it's still free to play option. I do have a lot of standard options, whatever, but if you are a new player, you're not getting the access of the free transcendent period that we had like on launch of the game. So I do highly advise you guys to hit that SOS like right out the bat, so you guys can alleviate any stress going to the spot. So surprisingly, S Gundam is still beating out Double Zeta. That's crazy. I feel like that is the problem because S Gundam has two of the biggest things going on, having the the crit rate increase and then crit attack, while Double Zeta only has the crit rate up. So it makes a huge difference when your own unit has crit attack. So that's why EZA is probably the best support right now for global until we have some better one. Those two elements makes any unit really strong. So it looks like we are only able to deplete 80% of the boss, so that's kind of as expected. So I'm going to do my SOS real quick so we can kind of get that ball rolling where people can start rushing into support. Hopefully, I don't know. But do S Gundam surviving really long? My gosh. Okay. Are you almost done, sir? Oh, I only put it at 2 times speed, my bad. I was intentionally trying to put it at 3 times speed, but we did 2 times instead. That's kind of L on my part, but alright, we lost, so cool. Okay, so in terms of the so-called free-to-play setup, it took me literally 4 more attempts to finish things off. So this time around, we are moving towards the more limited stuff. So we are going to be using Sasabi, Zeta, Full Armor Unicorn, and then as far as the support, unfortunately, I was not able to find a friend and double Zeta. So we are going to the closest thing using an S Gundam. So I think this should be fine. Essentially, I think this team has enough debuff going on. I was trying to bring on Mark II, but I feel like the diminishing return where we have too many debuff, it may not even matter. So I feel like I went to a more, let's say, things that are a little bit more survival-esque, because in terms of Full Armor Unicorn, we are able to gain some resistance. So I don't know how much it matters, but I feel like for this unit it should be tanky enough. And then for Sasabi, I think I'm just gonna go with a more HP, or no, a more damage base, because from my understanding it was pretty hard for this unit to even dodge. So I'm just gonna go with this so we can maximize the damage. So that should be good. So let's hop in and then see how we do. Right, we are back. So let's kind of see what the setup kind of looks like. So I'm just gonna go with that and then put new Gundam right there. So I think that should be fine, I feel like. And then as always, we will just kind of put this at 3 times speed because it takes really long. So let's kind of take a look at, whoa, not like that. Alright, let's kind of take a look. So the boss characteristic is really slow. It obviously does that. I think it just rapidly goes into like a target and just lands in there. But in terms of just the, like, you know, how fast this unit attacks is pretty slow. I know once in a while it just kind of do like a big old beam attacks, and then that's pretty much it. So yeah. Alright, so it just kind of randomly picks a target and just kind of lands on them, and that's kind of it. I definitely feel like the surviving part is a little bit better this time around because we did bring let's say, our good frame for unicorns. So I think in terms of everything else, we are doing pretty good. Sasabi is just gonna be that long-term support unit because we cannot really do too much in a situation where we're not really dodging, right? So pretty much all of the damage is coming from dodging, and we're not dodging, so that's why we're not really getting any consistent damage. So that's kind of unfortunate. I think we are winding down to the part where we are not going to make it. Yeah. No, New Gundam, no. I mean, honestly, New Gundam did survive a little bit longer than expected because being a type disadvantage, surviving that long is actually pretty good. And with this setup, we were able to make it down to the half HP, so that is actually quite good. So I think that should be pretty much everything that you guys do need to see. With a more limited setup, with this setup, I think we were able to go a little bit further. But I don't know if using Easy 8 will make any difference. It's definitely something I would want to try soon. But other than that, that is going to be pretty much it. So this raid boss is definitely really tough. So I do highly suggest you guys to click on that SOS button as soon as possible so you guys can complete that mission and just get out of there. As always, do try to support other players' missions because you guys are helping them out and you guys can definitely speed run through it. But other than that, that's gonna be it for me, and I'll be catching you guys all on the next one.